Alright guys, this is a solution video for the quiz on completing the square. I'm actually going to skip all the way to number 6 because this is the easiest one on the paper. It's easy because it's set up to factor and to solve this problem. Sorry about that. It's easier because it's set up to factor and solve this problem without having to actually complete the square. What it means is this number right here, already an easy square root, is the right number to be in there. So since it's there, you can factor this like this, what we call perfect square trinomial factoring. This is going to be the square root of the first term, use the sign of the middle term, and use the square root of this term. So it's set up and ready to go for factoring. Now you want to get rid of this square, so we're going to square root both sides. That'll cancel out that square and leave me with x minus 5 equals, the square root of 16 is easy, it's plus or minus 4. So the next thing I'm going to do is add 5 away to both sides. When you do that, you always put this number in front of the plus or minus. So it's 5 plus or minus 4. Because these two are easy numbers to deal with, I'm actually going to be able to take this all the way down to 2 answers for x. X is 5 plus 4, which is 9, or 5 minus 4, which is 1. So it's the easiest problem here because it's really set up right away to solve it like you just saw. So I'm going to go back to the beginning now and look at number 1 to see if you can kind of make a comparison between number 1 versus number 6. See, number 1 is missing that easy square root number right here. So you have to figure that out. And it's what we call completing the square. It's what this whole quiz is about. Basically, you're going to take the middle number, b. The formula for completing the square is b over 2 squared. So in this case, it's negative 6 over 2 squared. But that's just negative 3 squared, and that's equal to 9. So the number we got to put in here is 9. Since I'm going to add a 9 in here, I'm also going to add a 9 over here to balance it. So it's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 5. See, now that I have that number in here that's going to be the square root, I'm ready to factor it just like I did number 6. I'm going to factor it like this, where I square root the first term, use the sign of the middle term, and square root that one. I get that. Here again, I'm going to square root the whole thing now to cancel the square. And that's going to be x minus 3 left over. And here, I can't do anything with the square root of 5. I'm just going to leave it as plus or minus the square root of 5. And to finish off this problem, I'm going to add this 3 to both sides. Put it in front of the plus or minus. I'm going to put this as the final answer because I can't do anything with the square root of 5. Number 2 is pretty much a copy of number 1. Again, I'm missing the number that goes in here. So I'm going to take this middle number and divide it by 2. That's 5, and then I'm going to square it. That's what b over 2 squared means. So here I said negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and then I squared it and got 9. So this one is 10 over 2 squared, which is 5 squared, and that's 25. So it's really going to be x squared plus 10x. The number I wanted in there was 25. And 42 plus 25 is 67 now. So again, I'm ready to factor it. Square root, sine, and square root. I'm going to cancel off that square by square rooting the whole thing. We do with x plus 5 Over here again, there's nothing I can do with this. I can't simplify it, and I can't do it. So it's going to be plus or minus square root of 57. The last step, I'll subtract 5. And I'll put it in front of the plus or minus. And I get that. That's the final answer. So number 3 and number 4 have, more twists added to them, but it's really the same idea. See, number 3, I kind of have what I want, except I don't want that 2 in front of the x squared, so I'm going to divide it away like a very common factor. And that'll be x squared minus 10x equals 4. And that's pretty good, except I'm still missing the number that I wanted here, so I'll complete the square again. In this case, it'll be negative 10 over 2 squared. That's going to give me 25 again. So I'm going to add it here and here. I end up with x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 29. Now that I put that in there, I'm ready to factor it again. So notice the same pattern over and over again. Square root, sine, and square root. Now I square root the whole thing. That leaves me with x minus 5. And once again, 29, you can't simplify it and you can't do it, so it stays as it is. Last step is to add 5. So I get 5 in the front, plus or minus, square root of 29. So that was just had a common practice thing to take out in the beginning. Number 4, a little bit different. This time the 6x is over here when I want it to be next to the x squared. And the 8 is over here when I want it to be over here. So basically I'm just going to subtract the 6x away from both sides. I get x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0 for a minute. I'm going to take that 8 away because I don't want it there. I got x squared minus 6x and a negative 8. The number that I do want to be here, I'm going to have to figure out using our complete the square idea. So this time it's going to be negative 6 over 2 squared. That's going to give me positive 9. So I'm going to add a 9 in here and here. And I'm ready to factor it now. X minus 3. So I'll get rid of the square by square rooting both sides. I get x minus 3. X minus 3 equals, square root of 1 is just 1, but it's plus or minus 1. So here I'm going to add 3. And like always, I put that in front of the plus or minus. But I have two easy numbers to deal with. So I'm going to say x equals 3 plus 1, which is 4. Or x equals 3 minus 1, which is 2. So that one you could actually take all the way down to the simple numbers. Okay, last one. Kind of save the toughest for last, I guess. So again, we have the x term over here when it needs to be over here, and this negative 7 needs to go over this way. So very quickly, I'm going to add 2x. Then I'm going to add 7. Like that. So I'm still missing a number that belongs in here, so I will complete the square, which will be 2 over 2 this time. That's one squared is still one. I'm gonna be adding a one in here. So x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 8. It's ready to be factored now. X plus, square root of that is still 1. It can be square rooted now. Cancel that. X plus 1 equals. All right, here we want to do another situation. I can't do the square root of 8, but it can be simplified. In one of our very first lessons, square root of 8 breaks out into square root of 4 times square root of 2. Since I can do the square root of 4, I get 2 square root of 2 left over. So that one actually has to be simplified. And then the last step, I'll subtract 1 away from both sides. That goes in front of the plus or minus. I can't do anything else with this square root. So that's the final answer.